Tonight on CFTK-TV News, the Coachman Apartments had to make their tenants leave for a bit, the Prince Rupert RCMP are trying to find a missing man, and the Junior All-Native Tournament will be coming to Terrace this year.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Good evening, I'm Cale Maslin, and here's what's making the news in the Northwest and beyond for today. The City of Terrace recently took action to get any remaining residents out of the Coachman Apartments for a while after deeming it unsafe. Last week, the city posted a fire order on the doorways of the privately owned Coachman Apartment building due to numerous deficiencies identified during an inspection on January 8th. The building wasn't safe for occupancy, and the city was able to later secure the building. A team that included officials with the city, Kasan Society, and members of the RCMP conducted a walkthrough to document current conditions on last week as well. They also spoke with tenants in person while posting and distributing notices on the property. The Prince Rupert RCMP recently revealed that they are in the midst of seeking out public help to try and find a man that is currently wanted. The wanted man in question goes by the name of Michael Lawrence Vacker and is wanted for charges such as theft under $5,000, breach of probation, and possession of stolen property, with him reportedly committing 2 counts of each of those charges. Vacker has been described as a 50-year-old, 6-foot-tall Caucasian male that has hair that is partially white and partially brown, while also having brown eyes and weighing in at around 181 pounds. If you have any kind of information on where he might be located, you are asked to call the Prince Rupert RCMP at 250-624-2136, or if you wish to remain anonymous, BC Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477. Up next is another Prince Rupert RCMP case, as they recently sent out another notice trying to get assistance from the locals in order to locate a missing man this time. The man is known by the name of Cale Vincent Evans, and he was reportedly last seen in the afternoon of February 2nd exiting the Prince Rupert Regional Hospital. Evans has been described as having a fair complexion with a slender 5'9", 150-pound build, as well as dark brown curly hair, dark brown facial hair, stubble-like, and his last known outfit was said to be green and blue plaid pajama pants, in addition to a black t-shirt. Anyone that may have some information on his whereabouts is asked to call the Prince Rupert RCMP at 250-627-0700. Taylor Bachrach, the MP for the Skeena-Bulkley Valley, is said to have recently asked for the government in the House of Commons to increase tax deductions for volunteer firefighters and search and rescue workers in Northwest BC. He also went on to specifically mention the members of Terrace's search and rescue not too far removed from their response to a helicopter crash in the city. Some of Bachrach's given reasons for wanting this deduction is to reward all these volunteers for their work as well as to boost recruitment for those services. This idea of an increased tax deduction initially came from a proposal of NDP MP Gord Johns. All massive basketball fans in northwestern BC will be able to get their fill of the sport in Terrace around a month after Prince Rupert's All-Native Tournament ends.
The Nisga'a First Nation is set to host the Junior All-Native Basketball Tournament this year in several different venues throughout Terrace in about a little over a month or so, from March 18th to the 22nd. This tournament is separate from the also massive All-Native Tourney held in Prince Rupert yearly in February, as this one consists of boys and girls only under the ages of 13 and 17. One of the tournament's directors has since spoken on how much planning has to go into such a lengthy event.
Our committee's been working on this for over a year. We started before last year's Junior All-Native down south. We got a package together. We presented to the entire committee, and so this has been over a year for us to bring this to the Terrace area. There's over 6 venues in Terrace, the 2 ice arenas, 3 high schools, and 1 elementary school.
This is a tournament that has existed since the 1980s, and as for this year, the plan is to have at least 88 teams enter, meaning there should be over 1,000 players and coaches combined participating. More information, such as the cost of daily admission and tournament passes, as well as other tournament information, can be discovered online by searching up nishgajant2024.ca. For CFTK TV News, I'm Cale Maslin.
Coming up next is a look at a war over wine between BC and Alberta. Welcome back. Now for a stunning example of just how unaffordable Vancouver has become these days. A university student is commuting to his classes all the way from Calgary. As Abigail Turner reports, the flights make financial sense in the region's out-of-control rental market.
Commuting to class looks different for Tim Chen, who doesn't board a bus, but a plane to get to university. The arts student flies twice a week from Calgary to Vancouver, saving big bucks on rent.
I need to pay like $2,500 for the rent. I don't feel that is viable.
He pays roughly $150 per round-trip flight twice a week, about $1,200 per month total. That's half the average rent for a one-bedroom in the city.
I thought, why don't I just stay at Calgary and then just fly here? 1 hour flight. That's same to taking a bus.
He had been renting in Vancouver for years, but gave up his unit to take a break from school. He returned to sticker shock.
When I checked the house price, I was like, oh shoot, that was a big increase.
Vancouver continues to lead the way as Canada's most expensive city for renters, while finding a place to rent is even more difficult, with just a 0.9% vacancy rate. We've even seen UBC students living in vans when unable to afford rent.
This was the only financially viable option, as I couldn't afford a bachelor suite of a kind by myself.
Chen plans to fly to UBC for his 2 classes until the end of the academic year when he graduates.
I got 3 hours of class in total. After the class, I jump back to the bus and go back to the airport.
A routine that he says gives him plenty of time to focus on his studies from the air. Abigail Turner, CTV News, Vancouver.
We're learning more today about alleged extortion attempts targeting South Asian businesses in an issue that spans from BC all the way to Ontario. Police in Peel revealed recently that they have made a handful of arrests in 2 separate cases. CTV's John Musselman reports.
Peel Regional Police say they are investigating 29 separate cases of extortion targeting South Asian business owners. At a news conference today, police confirmed 5 people have been arrested in connection with 3 alleged incidents. The business owners received threats over the phone or through social media platforms to hand over money.
The businesses that are being victimized are South Asian owned, but vary. They include, and they're not limited to, restaurants and bakeries, trucking and transport companies, independent used car dealerships, and jewelry stores. The victims are contacted by traditional means like phone calls, but web-based and social media platforms like WhatsApp video calls is being used as well.
Police say 9 of the alleged extortion cases involve shootings at local businesses with multiple rounds fired. No one has been injured, but Brampton Mayor Patrick Brown says it has terrorized the community.
I can't tell you how harrowing it was to get phone calls in the fall from families that were terrified, business owners that were terrified.
There is a demand for money under the threat of violence to them, their business, or their associates. All of the information used in the threats can be found on open sources on the internet. The financial demands range from victim to victim, but they're often specified in Canadian currency or Indian rupees, with payment being made in either cash or a money transfer method.
The investigation was part of a probe conducted by the Extortion Investigative Task Force created in December.
The wine war between BC producers and Alberta's provincial government is currently escalating. CTV's Shannon Patterson now has more on why this couldn't have come at a worse time.
Lightning Rock Winery in Summerland isn't only popular with BC wine connoisseurs.
We love our Alberta clients. We have a lot of them that want to get our wine there. But because of the restrictions and the way that Alberta works, it makes it very hard to do business.
Last week, Lightning Rock and dozens of other Okanagan wineries got a letter from the Alberta Gaming and Liquor Commission warning if they don't stop shipping their product direct to consumers in that province, their wine will be pulled from liquor store shelves.
The rules in Alberta and the way the bureaucrats run it is they still believe in the old bricks and mortar business. They still believe that there's no such thing as the internet.
Alberta regulators say they're starting to enforce the existing law because they don't collect tax when BC wine is shipped direct to consumers there.
If Alberta wants me to collect tax and remit it on any sales to Albertans, we'd be glad to do it. Our Alberta clients would be glad to do it because of the benefit that they get from buying direct.
I think that's exactly what Minister Farnworth is talking about with his counterpart is how do we navigate this in a way that works well for both those parties, for Alberta and for the producers here.
But the opposition argues the message needs to come directly from BC's Premier.
Leadership, is when moments like this, you get on the phone or get on a plane and you sit down with the neighboring Premier and you hash these things out. It's too big an important sector for us to just deal with this as another irritant.
The challenge I've got with the Premier is that he's really good at expressing outrage, but he doesn't get in there and roll up his sleeves and say, hey, we need to fix this.
The Alberta crackdown couldn't come at a worse time for Okanagan wineries. A cold snap in January decimated crops.
It's devastating.
Crews at Lightning Rock are replanting with hardier grapes, and the owner isn't going to stop shipping his wine to Alberta buyers.
Right now, we're better off on direct to consumer.
Even if that means he can't sell in Alberta liquor stores. Shannon Patterson, CTV News.
Turning to tonight's weather, the North Coast is set to see mainly cloudy conditions and a low of 0 degrees. The Terrace-Kitimat area is said to be getting partly cloudy weather, and their low is down at -4 degrees. And the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District should see partly cloudy conditions as well, but a lower low of -10 degrees. On the North Coast, their week should consist of rain to begin, then some combo of sun and clouds, with the high moving between 3 and 6 degrees. In the Terrace-Kitimat area, the week for them is supposed to see clouds, snow, and rain, before more sunny conditions and cloudy days, and a high shifting from -1 to 1 degree. And in the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, the upcoming week will have mostly sun and cloud days, with some snow and flurries mixed in as well, and a high bouncing from -5 to 0 degrees. Checking out the highways now, visit Drive BC for the latest and up-to-date conditions, and as always, drive safe out there. On Highway 16, there is slippery sections, utility work, roadside brushing, and bridge maintenance, plus the Usk Ferry is out of service and the cable car is in effect. Highway 35 and 118 have some slippery sections and snow. Highway 37 has some slippery sections too, while also having various bits of maintenance. 37A has slippery sections as well, some more slippery sections on the Nishka Highway, and the Telegraph Creek Road has slippery sections of its own. And this is what the roads were looking like this afternoon around the region from the View of the Province's highway cams. Still to come is a look into ongoing preparation for the Super Bowl halftime show. Welcome back. To Nova Scotia now, some people on Cape Breton Island are still waiting for help days after a major storm dropped upwards of 150 centimeters of snow in some areas. As CTV's Kyle Moore explains, most main roads are finally in good shape, but side streets won't be cleared for more than a few days.
Well, if there is some good news with all of this, it is that the weather is cooperating today. There's a bit of sunshine, the winds are light, temperatures are mild as cleanup efforts continue, and there is still a lot of work to be done. The CBRM says they received over 600 calls for assistance with snow removal. The municipality has a 311 line set up that people can call to be put on a list for assistance when it becomes available. There are pieces of snow equipment arriving from the provincial government today. 5 more snowblowers have been sent to the island, along with loaders and graders and a 6x6 truck that will help with plowing efforts as well. They should be put into use today. There's about 200 Coast Guard cadets that are also on the ground today, helping shovel walkways, driveways, and really helping people that have been trapped in their houses for days. The mayor saying this morning that snow clearing efforts are about 35% in some areas. Other areas are seeing a little more than that at 50%. So slow and steady, but progress is being made. The municipality here still under a local state of emergency. Unclear when that will be lifted. Schools in the area as well are closed. A decision on tomorrow will be made later this afternoon. So it's another day of cleanup here in Cape Breton after a very significant snowfall over the weekend. Back to you.
Taylor Swift isn't the only singer getting headlines ahead of this weekend's Super Bowl. Hype for the halftime show is also building. ABC's Stephanie Ramos has a look at how Usher is preparing and who could join him on the stage.
Oh my gosh. R&B legend Usher is sharing new clues about his highly anticipated Super Bowl halftime performance, now just 4 days away. Telling The Hollywood Reporter, "Should I have performed earlier at the Super Bowl based off of the hit records that I had? I don't think it's about a hit record moment. I think it's a celebration of a career." The 8-time Grammy winner gracing the big stage during a pivotal time. This year, marking the 20th anniversary for the Diamond Certified Confessions album and 30 years since Usher's debut self-titled album. The superstar comparing the cultural significance of his performance to J-Lo and Shakira's 2020 halftime show. Usher saying, "You look at Shakira and Jennifer Lopez and the fact that they're celebrating their culture. For Usher, it's all about the R&B.
To have R&B have the main stage at the Super Bowl is a major thing for me.
Hey, obviously, he's a huge hit maker and deserves to be on the Super Bowl halftime show stage, but also as an R&B artist, especially at a time that's as fertile and as exciting as it is for R&B music, modern R&B music, it's really cool that they picked an R&B artist to headline.
And now we turn our attention to the stock markets. The Canadian dollar is up 0.2 of a cent, the price of gold is up 30 cents, oil is up 55 cents, natural gas is down 4 cents, aluminum is up $18. In Toronto, the TSX is up 11.44 points, the Venture Index is down 0.84, in New York, the Dow Jones is up 156, and the Nasdaq is up 147.65. Still ahead is a report on an artist using the Canucks as a work inspiration. Welcome back. A local artist is relishing the spotlight with her adaptation of the Canucks logo gaining praise. It's one reason why the hockey club is getting accolades for its outreach to various communities at a time when the NHL is pulled back. CTV's Ben Milger reports.
The colors that I chose are actually the flag of Ghana.
Fashion designer Nashika's work always comes from the heart, and the inspiration for her latest piece is no exception.
To honor my father, unfortunately he passed away of cancer, but he's with me in spirit, and I'm able to, show my Ghanaian and African, heritage for the diaspora through my pops and through my design. So it means a lot to me.
In collaboration with the Vancouver Canucks, Shika incorporated those influences from her heritage into this logo and jersey for Black Excellence Night later this month. For Shika, a lifelong Canucks fan who also played hockey growing up, it marks a full circle moment.
This is an opportunity that I'm blessed to have, and I want people to see my designs and what I'm about, so I'm definitely ready.
The Canucks have been praised for their diversity efforts, and the nights they host to celebrate different communities within the fan base have been largely successful, even as the National Hockey League has actually scaled back inclusion nights across the league, after a small handful of players refused to wear pride jerseys in warm-ups last year. The league banned teams from sporting any specialty jersey in pregame activities. That means fans can no longer see players in jerseys celebrating Lunar New Year, Diwali, or a host of other celebrations, including Black Excellence.
Really, by doing this, what message are you sending as the league? And it's really important to also consider the fact that what doors are you closing and what who are you shutting out through this process as well?
Sheikah's focused on the positives, like a book drive for libraries in Ghana she and the Canucks will host at the game. It's all work she's very proud of.
In my home city to rep my brand in my city with my team, yeah.
The Canucks celebrate Black Excellence Night when they hit the ice on February 15th. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
A former Prince George councillor recently purchased the city's only newspaper after seeing multiple other outlets in different communities shut down over the past year. Cameron Stolz is now the new owner of the 108-year-old Prince George Citizen after buying it off of Glacier Media. Stolz recently stated that he was worried that the Citizen, which lost about $56,000 last year, would be BC's next local paper to go. Stolz said he's not expecting the paper to become ultra profitable, but he believes he can turn things around and hire more reporters in an 18-month span. David Eby recently said that he reached out to BC Attorney General Nikki Sharma to look at what BC can do to increase safety after a Crown prosecutor got assaulted in downtown Vancouver. The Premier next said he was profoundly disturbed to hear this assault, but was told the woman later got medical care. Vancouver police also confirmed they're investigating a pair of assaults in the downtown east side, not far from the provincial courthouse at 222 Main Street. They last said that a suspect was arrested. However, the police don't believe the suspect and the victims really knew one another. That's all of our news for now. From all of us here at CFTK-TV News, I'm Cale Maslin. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.